my grocery store, and I bet that you have at yours too. Now, some of the brands may be a little bit different, but really the overall base applies to every brand. All right, so let's go through some quick cooking brown rice options. The first one I want to go over is this Uncle Ben's Ready Rice. Is a whole grain brown rice, as it says on the front, which is really nice, but you still need to flip it over to the back, and let's read the ingredients on this one. It has water, whole grain parboiled brown rice, canola oil, and or sunflower oil. So it definitely is a cooked whole grain, but they have added a little bit of oil in here. You know, this is still going to be a good option for something that's quick. Literally, you stick it in the microwave for 90 seconds and it is done. Do with it what you would like. You could even dump this in soups or stews and that sort of thing, and power it up even more if you like. But just know that they have added oil to this one. So overall, it's really good. Now the parboiled may kind of throw you off there and say, well, is that really a whole grain brown rice? And yes, it is. They have just pre-cooked it a little bit. And it's kind of the same thing they do in instant rices like this one. This says bowl in a bag. You can also get it where you measure it out and then you put it in your pot and boil it and then eat it that way. I prefer the bowl in the bag because I don't necessarily have to worry about just making sure I have enough water in my pot. Put the bag in the boiling water, and at the end of the time that it has, you know, it's done. I can pull the bag out, it drains nicely, that sort of thing. And I kind of like the texture better, but everyone's different. What is nice is this is just the pre-cooked parboiled whole grain brown rice is all that is on the ingredient list down here. So this is another great choice of a cooked whole grain, and they haven't added any oil. So very nice option. All right, so the next one that is definitely not as quick as this Ready Rice right here, and a little bit quicker than this one, is you can now find frozen whole grain brown rice. And literally the only thing it is here is cooked brown rice, and in parentheses it says water and rice. So this is another great option of a cooked whole grain. You know, similar to this one that I mentioned, you could use this in other items. So if you wanted to cook long grain brown rice in like a soup, you know, cooking it from scratch, you know, is another 45 minutes or so of cooking. You know, you could even dump something like this in the soup, and within 5 minutes it would be ready to eat. So just another really nice addition that they've had for something that's quick, and it's a whole grain brown rice. Now, most of us probably are familiar with just regular long grain brown rice. There are a variety of different, you know, manufacturers of it that you can pick from. And I used to really not cook brown rice a whole lot. You know, I would do kind of the bowl in the bag. Now that they have this one, every now and then. But what I really, just to kind of save even on the budget a little bit on your wallet, it's really nice because a big bag of this, of just brown rice, is only like $2 to $3. And you could cook this whole thing up and freeze it into whatever, you know, serving sizes you want. Put them in your freezer, and that way they're pulled out and ready to eat. No different than this one is. Let it thaw, heat it up a little bit, ready to go. But there are a couple different ways in cooking this. You know, you can definitely do it in your pot. Takes about 45 minutes at least to cook and just on the stove top. Or some of the ladies in our Facebook community finally talked me into investing in an Instant Pot, and it's kind of a version of a pressure cooker. Oh, excuse the sound. And you can do a ton of different things in the Instant Pot. So what I do, because you know I'm not a perfect cook, I'll get it going in this a lot of times, and then it boils over. Did it cook long enough? Did it get done through? This almost ensures that it does. And so I have really become reliant on my investment that I have made into this kitchen tool. So, you know, the next time you're looking at investing something, you might actually check out the Instant Pot. They come in a variety of different price ranges that you can use, but you can see all of the different buttons here of different things that you can do, and it does come with a nice handy dandy little booklet too. So for example, you know, you can do beans. I love beans, the texture of just beans from scratch, which is another really simple and very inexpensive item, you know, especially it's going to help you fill that 75% part. to cook in here. So long grain brown rice, they have, where is it? Charts. So it tells you, how much of the item to how much water, and you can stick it in there and set the timer for the amount that it says. So typically for brown rice, it's about 28 minutes is usually what I do. It says I think like 24 to 28 minutes. I usually do it on the higher end. And then on the top of this, it has a little button. So it, kind of comes to pressure. And then when you're wanting to release the pressure, you can turn it, releases it, opens up, and the rice is ready. The texture of it to me is very, very, very good. Almost kind of reminds me more of white rice. So I'm going to get some rice cooking, and then we're going to make that cilantro lime recipe, that copycat chili Chipotle's one, and see how quick and easy that is to come together too. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've added the rice and the water to the Instant Pot. And now I'm going to put the lid on, turn it to lock in place. And then I'm going to put this on multi-grain, and it's already set for 28 minutes, and then it's automatically going to come on. So it does take it a little bit of time for the Instant Pot to come to pressure. And as you can see, there's steam going out the top, and we're just going to make sure that this is right here. And then once it reaches pressure, it stops. And then it will automatically start the timer after that. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and cook a bowl in the bag parboiled brown rice, just so we can take a look at the difference of it between the Instant Pot and cooking it from scratch, or even if you did do that on the stove top, to the parboiled. So I'm going to add it to the water and get it going. So the bowl in the bag rice is done, so let's pour it in. Oh, it's very nice and flaky and really, really moist. Let me scoop out from the Instant Pot here. A couple of good scoops of rice into this bowl. It's a little bit stickier, you can kind of see. But it is, both of these are just really delicious and great options. And you can see, that's just maybe like a third of what is in the Instant Pot and cooking that whole bag of rice. There's just a lot of rice, as you can see there. So, overall, this one's a little bit hotter because it took longer to cook, and so this one was kind of waiting on this one, but you can, overall kind of see the difference there. Both are great options, and I suggest giving it a try. It says for 2 cups of brown rice. This is probably a little bit more than that, but we're going to go ahead and make it work for this amount. Now it does have you boil it with lime juice, so if that's something that you want to do, you can. But then they also have you add, you could just simply add lime juice. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it over that. And you could probably do, I don't know, half of one might be enough. If you don't have kind of a squeezer, you can definitely do this with your hands too. You definitely get a little bit more out of the device. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic minced. I'm going to use fresh garlic here, but you definitely can use the other. Let's see, cut that off right there, add in. And then I have about a half a cup of fresh cilantro here. Cilantro, it really has a great flavor. It's become one of my favorite herbs, dried or fresh. All right, so we're gonna mix this up. And as you can see, that cilantro lime rice comes together, that fresh garlic, even just jarred minced garlic is really gonna bring a kind of a really fabulous flavor to it. The zest of the lime, the kind of zesty tanginess of the lime, and that cilantro. So we're going to first start with a good serving of the rice on our plate. All right. And then I just have a can of beans black beans that I'm using here. And you could eat them cold or even eat them warmed up. Add those on top, man. Half a cup, you're adding 8 grams of fiber there. Now for the topping, you definitely can just take shredded lettuce or your favorite spring mix or spinach, that sort of thing out on top. And then top it with Holy Guacamole has a variety of different little single packs like this. So even if you're taking this to work, it's definitely something you could pack and still enjoy. And just a nice big dollops on top there. Avocado, it's a great healthy fat. Plus, you're adding fiber to it. All right, and then last but never least for me is your favorite salsa. The guacamole and the salsa really provide a nice almost dressing without adding, just a ton of calories from saturated fat. And there you have it. There's your kind of a copycat version of Chipotle's burrito bowl.